Sorry I'm late. My mashed potato pizza took forever to get here. But you know, you can't rush perfection, right?
You can try. You might get your results.
Yeah, and you know. Oh, what a coincidence. We're talking about Mosh today.
Ha ha ha, get ha 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 ha.
Ha 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 ha. Laugh at my jokes.
Or else.
Hi, Love Turtle. Laugh at our jokes. Azure will probably be providing images as per usual. But don't mind the thing. Mashed potato pizza. That's a new one.
I'm just confused. I'm glad that I wasn't the only one who
really
didn't know what that was.
Maybe it's a New England thing, but a mashed potato pizza is a pizza that tastes like a loaded potato. Yep, it's a loaded potato, but in pizza form, and you can put sour cream on it, and it tastes good. You know, if you feel like having a bunch of carbs all in one go.
It's if you need to hibernate.
I'm trying to do that because, okay, I heard it all.
No, you haven't.
What about? Have you had a mac and cheese pizza? That's another carbo-loaded pizza.
That actually sounds pretty good.
It is very good.
I mean, not that the mashed potato pizza doesn't sound good.
Oh no, a mac and cheese pizza. There's even buffalo mac and cheese pizza. Now the buffalo mac and cheese pizza, those are really good. They're really good. But I like the spicy food, so.
It's like I live in the most like backwards capital in the country, and there's nowhere around here good to eat.
Oh my god. Does that mean you have only places that have boring pizzas?
Yes, it's all chains.
Only I feel so bad. There are like
I haven't had a good New York style pizza in like 20 years.
I feel so bad because there's like 3 local pizza joints in this one town I'm living in. And they're all like home family owned places.
For my birthday, you're gonna have to send me a pie.
I will have to figure out how to send you a pie.
I'm not sure how well that would work through the mail, but maybe you could do next day delivery.
Maybe. We'll have to figure it out. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about Mosh Light for this episode of TMI, because I think we should probably get started on that, even though I could just keep talking about pizzas for the entire...
And I think we need to start with the most important question of all about this character.
Yes, what is it?
How the fuck do you pronounce her last name?
Light.
Light,
yes.
What does that mean?
How the fuck should I know? It's fucking fate. Do you think they actually think things through when they name characters?
I'm just saying, Light sounds like a type of, like, recharging crystal that some cult religion would use.
Hang on, I'll check it up on the internet right now.
I would love a pizza stream. I've actually got some pizza in my fridge. It's just some crappy Marco's pizza, though.
But yeah, if you've watched any of the Grand Order anime, she pronounced it Kiriraito, so it's Kirilite.
You know, it's been dubbed as well. We probably could just watch the dub, but I haven't.
So I think it's a combination of Kiri and Raito. So I have to figure out what variations of the name.
So it just means pretty light.
So probably. I think that's what it means.
Really on the nose there.
Yeah.
It's like they're just like it's like.
Yeah,
how?
I think it's. Yeah, it's basically. I think that's what they were doing there, in the Japanese words. I think they were just being very on the nose with the name.
Mm-hmm. I can just imagine like Nasu being like, this character, she's so pretty. We're gonna call her Pretty Light.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. But anyway...
I mean, these people have been eating up saber clones for years. It's like we can feed them anything.
Yeah, they'll take anything. Even another saber clone, because that is all this artist can draw.
Basically.
But anyway...
It's like the Akira Toriyama of Fate.
Basically, they've decided to combine all of the tropes with Mosh. She's got Booba, yeah. Does she got peekaboo eyes? Yeah. Does she got glasses? Yeah. Does she got thigh reveal? Yeah.
Is she a Ray clone? Yeah.
Is she your Kohai? Yeah.
Is she tsundere? Sometimes.
Is she technically also your senpai? Yeah. How on earth do you guys talk about everything but the actual topic? This is the topic. We're talking about the topic right now.
I think we both have ADHD.
We do, probably. I'm undiagnosed though, so I can't actually.
I am definitely diagnosed.
It's because we've been friends for so long. We just bounce off each other until we're told to stop. Do you want us to stop Not a Whirlwind? We can stop the stream.
Our parents are gonna come in and make us sit down.
Yeah. I can stop. No. I'm joking. It's
yeah,
good.
we're joking.
Okay.
Oh, man, I had the Ritalin ready and everything.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna start talking about this character before she was Mosh. Because, that's right, Mosh was not always Mosh, if you believe it or not.
Once she was solid.
Yep, once she was solid.
But then she got mashed.
Yep, then she
literally, she did get mashed.
Yeah, literally.
But we'll get to that.
So anyway, this is the character right here, who was right here. I'll move over here. So the character's name is Tachi, and she's basically Mosh before Mosh happened. So originally, this was a character planned from the original Fate Stay Night visual novel. So, it means this character was developed before, like, tons and tons of characters. Hello, Mitsu. Welcome to the stream. We're talking about Mosh Kirilight today, but right now, this is... Oh,
wow.
Hello, Raiders! Welcome, Chirimi! Welcome, another yes. Hello, I'm Cherry Pereira. Nice to meet you. I am a Hellhound VTuber. Since I'm introducing myself to all of you Raiders for the first time, we've come to see the... No, don't say that! There are many cherries out there. I one day plan to stream with all the cherries, and together we can be a fruits basket, you know? Cherry, oh wait. The fluffy cherry. Future collab, sure, why not? One day, the actual cherry army. Oh, I wasn't expecting all of you. Hello, welcome. We're talking about Mosh Kirilight today, and this podcast of TMI, which you, the viewers, get to interact and ask questions if I confuse you, which you will, because it's Type Moon. Anyway, this is my co-host, Azure. He's a voice in the void.
Yes, I do not have a body currently.
I'm working on it. Don't worry about it. I have to sacrifice a few more babies before it to work. What?
She's been working on it for 2 years.
Look, I gave you a sailor suit outfit, so you know I'm halfway there. You're halfway to the form you want. Don't judge me, Azure.
How can I am a disembodied being. How can I judge you?
Have you been using the right summoning spell? No, honestly, I think I've been using the wrong. Thank you to Basics, and let me go through all of you who have just followed. So thank you to Basics, JKV, Katsumi, VTB, and Shirimi for the raid. Thank you all so much. So anyway, so we're talking about the character before she became the character. You have to ask for the assistance of the Isekai gods for Truck-kun. Look,
no.
Honestly,
that's how I wound up in this situation.
Yes, this is true. He did get run over by a truck, and that's why he's stuck with me.
Not every isekai goes off smoothly.
Yeah, so that's why I gotta work on it. I gotta get his body back together. I mean, in his defense, he did get isekai to my world. Problem is I then got a isekai to his world. So he's just now back in his original world.
It's like crossing the streams in Ghostbusters. You don't want to do it.
So yeah. So before Mosh, she was known as Tachi, and
maybe to be on the safe side, maybe we should just say who we're talking about to begin with.
We're talking about Mosh Kirilight
from Fate Grand Order.
From Fate Grand Order. We're introducing you to the character, or the concept of the character from before she existed. I was talking about who doesn't know her. Probably a lot of people if they don't pay attention to Type Moon stuff. But, you know, I just run a thing. What? I just run an informational series. We do this every Friday, more or less.
People who have escaped the gotcha hell.
Yes. But anyway, yes, I've been doing this every Friday for almost a year now. About a year, actually, I think exactly a year now. We've been doing TMI, where we've been talking about characters and series, and the Servant Verse. The Servant Verse was last week, or was that 2 weeks ago? I don't know. I have COVID brain. Fate is Poggers, yes. So how, pray tell, is this mashed potato pizza? It was good. I ate it. It had bacon on it too. Potato, because
she could probably do a whole stream about it.
I could do a whole stream about it. It was very good. It's very good pizza. I wish I was smart enough to say that I had ordered it specifically because we were talking about Mosh today, but no, I was just craving a mashed potato pizza. I don't know if this is a New Englander thing or not, because a couple of you have said you don't know what it is. But anyway, imagine a pizza, but it tastes like a full loaded potato. There you go. That's a mashed potato pizza.
I'm just gonna drop this on the screen real quick.
Yeah, do it. Mashed potato pizza. Yes, that is what a mashed potato pizza looks like. I didn't know. This is what it is. It's a legit thing.
Most of us did it.
It's a thing. It's real. I swear. Do you want a carbo load? This is how you do it. Want another way to carbo load? Macaroni and cheese pizza. It's so good.
Man, I'm just hungry.
I was imagining mashed potatoes on top of a pizza. Almost. It's kind of like, so the mashed potato is kind of like acting like the sauce. The cheese goes on top, and then it has the bacon, and then you dip it in, sour cream. Yeah. And that's how they make the potato. Anyway, guys, we're off topic. We need to talk about this Mosh, who's now Tachi right now. So what's interesting about this character is that basically she was more or less been developed long before many of the characters, like before Joan of Arc, Lancelot. Think of that, guys. Technically, Galahad was more or less developed before his dad was. That's food for thought. So this character was supposed to be another, like, romance option for Shiro, because, you know, they also thought, hey, maybe we could do a Medea and a Rider, because they're known for doing, like, a lot of love interests, and Fate was surprisingly had less love interests, but that's only because they ran out of time. It wasn't for the lack of wanting to. It's just they ran out of time making the game. So, you know. But basically this character in general was created to give Shiro even more trauma. And you're like, how is that fucking possible? Well, she was a person who was revived after the Fuyuki fire via servant fusion and necromancy. So, yeah.
Was she going to be like a childhood friend?
No, she was going to be one of the people that Shiro ignored while he was surviving in the fire.
He was 10.
Yeah. Yep, but that
I'm just saying, at a certain point... Shiro, buddy, you gotta
Yeah.
you gotta stop taking responsibility.
Yeah, that was a whole. It was more of her character arc. It was basically from what I read is that it was more about her accepting her death and that he couldn't really have saved her or anything. And then she dies saving him. So more trauma. Yay!
No, so basically, she's like intentionally guilt tripping him
Yes.
throughout the.
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
What a bitch.
Yes. Yes. Well, it also doesn't help that she kind of has like a split personality between Galahad and her original personality. So, there's that. But originally, this character was going to be the anime, the Fate Stay Night Dean anime. This was the character they were going to use for that. In fact, the stray servant wandering around in the woods in that anime is actually a reference to her. It was supposed to be her, but then they decided to veer back and go onto the Fate route. Probably, like, halfway through the series, so they never got to that. But that line slipped in. So, this is why this character design exists. Because, as you can see, Takeuchi finished it up right before the anime was supposed to happen. But, as you can see, that didn't happen. I'm almost curious about what if anime scenario, because she was gonna die because she was going off against Arturia, but Gilgamesh gets in the way and kills her while she is trying to fight Arturia, and that's how the anime would have gone.
I'm not sure if that would have been better.
I'm not sure either, but
And I think if this is like her like impetus, like if this is her backstory. Like, people give Sakura a lot of shit. Like,
yeah.
I can easily see this character becoming like the reviled character.
Yeah. This probably would have made Sakura look better, honestly. Probably, at least. Mm-hmm. I personally just still can't stand Sakura, regardless.
It's like she went around eating people, but at least she wasn't guilt tripping a guy for something he had no help over.
Yep. So anyway, that's Tachi, guys. This is. The version of Mosh.
Instead, we're just gonna take the personality right out of her.
Yep, we're gonna take the personality right out of her.
And we're just gonna make her nice waifu.
A nice waifu. Yep. But let's go and talk about the servant she's fused with before we go to that. Because, this is one of the knights in the Arturian myth who barely has anything going for him. I'm gonna be honest.
Is this picture from Monty Python?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. So Sir Galahad, as I like to call him, the original Gary Stew. Don't mind my notes up there. He's an illegitimate son of Lancelot because Lancelot can't be bothered to actually get married because he wants to get with the married women.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's just his kink.
That's just his thing. He just likes women who are married, but not to him. Stigma. Yes, stigma indeed.
Evidently.
But anyway, Galahad, according to any of the Arturian myths he's in, never has any romantic love interest. I don't know if it was an interpretation or a way they wrote it later on, but they swear he is sworn to a life of chastity. So he has never had to sex. He's
the very first example of asexual representation in literature.
Yep. But anyway, he is also the Knight of the Round Table who manages to actually find the Holy Grail, and then he goes to heaven, a la Virgin Mary. If anybody doesn't know anything about Christian stories, so the Virgin Mary never dies. She just ascends to heaven. Galahad also does that. He doesn't die. He ascends to heaven.
Man, this really is like a Mary. This really is.
No, Galahad legitimately is a Mary Sue. If you look at any of his stuff. No, he's legitimate. Mary Stew, Gary Stew, original Gary Stew, right here.
Steele.
Yep. Supposedly he's like the perfect knight. In Type Moon, it's still more or less portrayed that way. he's, you know...
Really? He seems like kind of a prick in Fate Grand Order. Going by what I've seen, at least. I haven't seen that much of him.
Well, it's more or less of the... He is... Well, it depends on what your definition of perfect knight is. It's more of that he is set in his ways in the mission. He did want to protect Mosh, but that didn't go too well, so he just kind of fucks off in the end. But
well, he did swear himself to a life of chastity, and now he's in the body of a woman, and it's like
yeah. So now let's talk about his alter version. I don't really have too much on him because he's from a light novel called fuck, I know the name, but now I've forgotten about it. It's the one with Voyager. The
Requiem,
one,
really?
the god, the stupid...
Requiem.
Yeah, Requiem. The stupid light novel where everybody of the world has a servant, and...
AKA Star Trek the Motion Picture.
Yes, Star Trek the Motion Picture. I still think the concept of this series doesn't work as a light novel because... Honestly, this just sounds like a recipe for disaster. It doesn't make too much sense in the context of the Fate universe in general for this to be possible. Since, you know, the world in general, as we've perceived it, doesn't have enough magical energy to be able to fucking pull this off. So...
Well, maybe there's something about that timeline.
Maybe there is something about this timeline. You know, other than the fact that someone made a wish on a holy grail for everybody to be able to have a servant. Fucking dumb. Doesn't make sense. The grail would not have been able to grant that wish. What the fuck? Anyway. Fate Requiem. This is where, Galahad Alter. Yes, Fate in a nutshell, indeed. There are more exceptions than rules.
Just occurred to me?
What? 7
billion people on the planet. If everyone gets a servant, that's going to double to 14
yes.
billion.
Yes, it did.
There's not going to... There's
Although, according to some
people... So now
people...
you need twice as much living space.
Yeah, so according to some people, though, Fate Requiem is on a doomed timeline, supposedly. Like, it's gonna get cut off.
It's like the end of the world orgy. It's like everyone's just going crazy.
End of the world orgy. Another reason why I don't like Fate Requiem. The main character is the offspring of a servant and a human. Which completely doesn't make sense to me. Okay. Servants aren't in physical form, so that could not go that poorly. True. That is true. But I still don't understand how it works in Fate Requiem. It's really weird. How the fuck can a servant have a child? And if I'm remembering correctly, I think it was even the servant who gave the birth. So, even less makes sense to me. So anyway, so Lancelot Alter, Galahad Alter exists in Fate Requiem. I don't really know if he's a real alter or not, because from the sounds of it, you mean Arthur has a son who is a girl? Yes. Makes sense. Oh yeah, it does make sense.
Well, here's the thing, that does make sense, because that happened before he or she became a servant.
Yes, it happened before she became a servant, and Merlin gave her a penis. Yeah,
End of conversation.
It legit happened. It happened in the story. It was before she was a servant, so anything can happen there. I'm talking about after they've died. It doesn't make any sense for them to be able to have kids, because they're literally kind of corporeal ghosts, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And it's like fucking ghosts. That's just going too far, Fate.
Yeah, that's just going too far. At least the fucking ghosts can have children. Doesn't make any sense, in my opinion. How could the ghost have kids? You may be able to have sex with a ghost, but having kids with a ghost is weird. Did it ever explain? Merlin did it because I think he was trying to be funny or something in that storyline, but all I know is that it then Morgana took advantage of it, and it ended badly.
It's like, haha, you're a Fuda now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Ghost having a child. It's like, this is a very weird remake of Danny Phantom.
Yeah, haha, here's your dick. Basically, that is Merlin in a nutshell. Mm-hmm. Merlin causes a lot of fuck-ups in the Arturian myth, even especially in the Type Moon version of things, because he was like, no, Morgana can't be the king because she's a girl and doesn't have the ability to be the king, even though she has the dragon blood. Arturia born. Fuck! It's a girl!
This is reminding me of... It's reminding me of The World's Strongest Abridged, the TFS DBZ movie.
Yeah.
Where it's like the one character's like, couldn't do it, doesn't have a penis.
Yeah.
It's literally Cochin from that TFS movie.
Pretty much. That's pretty much Merlin in a nutshell. Basically, Arturia happened just because Merlin had a panic because he didn't account for the fact that Arturia could possibly be a girl. So...
Now, out of universe, we easily could have explained this as way as just saying like, oh, how did Arturia have, what's going on, how did they have a child? Oh, Mordred's just a clone of Arturia. And they could have, like, just done that.
Mordred is still a clone of Arturia. It just so happened that Morgana needed the dick sperm to make it happen.
I'm just saying, if there were dicks involved, Attack of the Clones would have been a very different movie.
Oh. Okay, alter.
Jango Fett would have been exhausted.
Okay, I'm just gonna get an image of Alter Galahad, so all of you may look at this pretty boy.
Look at this fucking edgelord.
Look at this edge. Yeah, put him up there, Azure. Do it.
Me?
Oh, I can do it if you didn't. I already copied it. There we go.
Okay, yeah.
Here we go. Here's Alter Galahad from Fate Requiem. According to his bio, he has the memories of a Galahad who gave up his search for the Holy Grail, which means I feel like he should just be called Saber Galahad, because that is not what an altar is.
Doesn't that literally just makes him the Galahad from the Monty Python movie?
Yeah,
because that Galahad died before they found the Grail.
Yeah. So
that's gonna be my headcanon. This is the Galahad who got thrown off the bridge.
He also likes to call up hookers when he's lonely, because his master is no fun at all. Meh. But he'll protect her anyway, ooh-woo. Basically, he's tsundere for his master, and I think he's trying to find ways to annoy him.
I'm gonna have sex with other people.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much. He calls up hookers and drinks booze all day. That's literally in his biography.
What a bad boy.
Yeah,
this is like, you can tell, it's like, this is the most badass that anyone can be, as thought up by a 13-year-old.
Honestly, I really think the person who wrote Fate Requiem didn't think too hard when they were writing it, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of the things... Because look at this. 2 of his noble phantoms are the Sword of Strange Hangings, that belonged to David, and the Holy Spear of Lucius Longinus, which it doesn't make sense he has any of those, because I don't...
Yeah, while we're at it, he also has a lightsaber, and he has an M1 Grant.
I don't understand why you have these things.
Mm-hmm. And he can use the Kamehameha.
Yeah, probably. I mean... if he's...
This guy looks like he's an isekai protagonist.
Probably. But more or less...
This guy looks like he's my truck-kun.
Probably needs to be hit by my truck-kun. Supposedly he's more protective than his shielder counterpart, Hilarious. But in general, I just don't see... I still don't see how he's an altar, to be honest. I think people just don't understand what an altar is, to be real.
Yeah, they've become, corrupted and, evil.
Well, not... Corrupted and evil does not mean true in hand. That's not actually what an altar is.
That could be...
But that will be a topic for another stream about what the heck an altar is. Because it's surprisingly, I don't think it's what people think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so let's move on. We're gonna talk about Mosh, and Azure can probably put on pictures whenever he feels like. If he wants to interrupt the stream, go ahead.
This is the funny thing, like, all these people have come in. This is the first time we actually prepared for one of these streams.
This is great. I'm so glad that the raid happened when I prepared for things. I'm more collected. I'm able to talk about things as we go through it. So anyway, so before the events of the game, Mosh was artificially inseminated and genetically altered in the year 2000. Cool beans, right? We have a date for the conception.
It was a trend.
It was a trend. So you're understanding, what does this mean? Does this mean that the Mosh is the homunculus? No, Mosh is not a homunculus. Mosh,
test tube baby.
Yes, Mosh is a test tube baby, aka a designer baby, which is almost a homunculus, but not quite. She still came out of a womb and is growing like a normal person. Homunculi don't really do that. But that's enough about homunculi. We can talk about that in another stream. But anyway, so when she is 10 years old, they decide it's time to summon the servant that they're going to squish in her teeny tiny body. And
because
Galahad,
it works so well for the Einsburns.
Yeah. So Galahad gets summoned, and now he's inside the body, and he's like, the fuck this? And tries to...
Why did you do this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why would you do this? Why am I in this teeny tiny body? And tries to escape the laboratory. Mosh eventually resists him, but, you know, Galahad realized, oh, they fucked up her body so much that she cannot physically leave the laboratory. Fine, I'll go to sleep. I'll be watching all of you. So, that happens. So, Mosh is then like, oh no, so can you use powers? And she's like, what? Because Mosh has no idea what the hell the servant inside her body is right now. So they're like, well, I guess we will just see if we can use her as a summoning catalyst. Put her on Team A. And so she was put on Team A. You don't know who Team A is yet? Don't worry about it. So Mosh is then taken off that team because things aren't going so well. And they're like, oh, by the way, Mosh, you have like 2 years left to live. And she's like, wait, what? And then everybody on Team A dies, or maybe, possibly. Then the game happens.
We're not sure yet.
Don't worry about it.
Not talking about it yet.
Yeah. So, alright. Let's move on to the events of Fate Grand Order. So, blah 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 blah. So you start off in a weird place where a girl starts calling you senpai.
To be fair, you did choose to just randomly pass out in a hallway.
That is true. It was weird. We won't ask questions why that happened. Turns out it's because the master has squishy energy and it can't really handle the high altitudes right now. But don't worry about it. Things will get better. But first they have to get worse.
Yes.
So, after things, so they have like this whole, so we're gonna send all of you people into the past to fix the problem, like Samurai Jack. Actually, he got sent to the future. Shut up! Anyway. So, they decide time travel, only way to save the world. So they get all the masters ready except for you, because you fell asleep during orientation. Or something like that.
And the tsundere love interest kicked you out.
Yeah, you got kicked out. So you went to your room, and stuff happened, and the next thing you know, there was an explosion in the main thing, and I guess everybody died. And also,
Maybe.
and also Mosh is there, and she's dying, and you're like, oh shit, I can't just leave her here to die, and then the room gets closed in, and you're stuck in the room with her, and you're like, well, I guess we'll just die together then. So you decide to hold her hand, and then a miracle happens.
She literally got mashed.
Yeah, she did literally got mashed. Then a miracle happens, and we're in a place on fire, but not the place on fire that we were. We were in a completely different place that's on fire. I like.
Man, that place can just not catch a break.
Yeah, I like how I'm re-describing the events of Fate Grand Order in the best way I know how. It makes total sense. Anyway, so the animation is shit right now, but it's okay. It'll get a little better.
A little bit.
A little bit. Not that much.
It's a game. It was a 1-episode OVA.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to play the game.
Yeah. So the tsundere lady, who we thought had died in the explosion, is there.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Along with our Kohai, whose hands we were holding, but it's now somehow wearing armor and stuff, and you're like, what? And then she's like, summon servants, and you're like, okay. And if you were playing JP at the time, you didn't get a gold servant right off the bat unless you were god-awful lucky.
I mean, if you were playing JP at the time, chances were you didn't get to play because the servers crashed. I remember those days.
Memories.
The first few days was a complete shit show.
We
got so much apology courts after that.
Yeah. Did you get any good servants in the first couple of rolls? I don't think I got any gold.
Really? Like, God, I'm trying to remember.
I know I had a slot of silvers for a while there.
Oh, that was also back in the days where it's like you weren't even guaranteed to get a servant in the rolls.
Yeah, that was the days. Those were the days. Thank God they fixed all that up for the American release.
When there were nothing but black keys in the gacha.
Nothing but black keys. It was a time. You had to be there. Movie finished. Now there's cheer. Hello, Sparks. Welcome to us talking about the best girl in FGO, because she's the only girl. The only option you have. Don't let her know that you're looking at other women.
Caster Kukulane.
Yes, Caster Kukulane. Who is surprisingly, according to what we've learned from new lore, he's actually Thor. He's actually Thor. No, not Thor.
Huh.
No, he's Odin. He's Odin possessing Kulane's body. Surprise! He's actually Odin, the god of gods in the Viking myth. No, not Viking.
Norse.
Norse. That's the word I was looking for.
I don't think I like that. I liked it better when he was just a caster.
Well, too bad.
What the fuck does the Wicker Man have to do with Odin?
Probably more than we realize now. Anyway,
We never saw that in the Marvel movies.
Yeah, so, and you want to know about we already had a conversation about the mashed potato pizza. The mashed potato pizza is a pizza that tastes like a loaded potato. It's got bacon, and you can put sour cream on it, and you eat it, and it's like all the carbs in one go. I can talk about it all day. It is good. If you like potato, it's good. It's good if you like potato. I like potato. I was feeling potatoes. I wish I could say it was in relative of our main character here, but no. I'm sorry.
I'm just imagining you just like holding these two potatoes in your hands, and you're just kind of like fiddling with them, and you're thinking, yes, I'm feeling the potatoes.
Yep.
I need a potato pizza.
Potato pizza. I'm fan of potatoes. But yeah. So, Fuyuki's on fire! And then we go through the Fuyuki and you're like, dang, a lot of these characters seem very familiar, but not at the same time. They seem a little different than I'm used to them.
Depends on how you are experiencing this story. If you were playing the game, it's just the servants from Fate Stay Night, but they've been blacked out and covered in smoke.
Mm-hmm.
In the anime, it's like, they've given them brand new designs.
Yay! And then Ultrix shows up and she's like, bitch, you can't go further. And then she's like, oh wait, I know that shield, and then the thing is over. It turns out Olga Marie was dead the entire time.
So you're saying that the girl who we thought died in the explosion died in the explosion?
Yes. And then we get back to things, and then we're like, oh, that was a bad time that happened. Good thing we had France to cheer us up going forward. Because that's what it does, pretty much. Because it's relatively lighthearted compared to...
Thank you, Kojiro. Thank you, Kojiro. We salute your duty.
Yes, thank you, Kojiro, Slayer of Dragons. If it weren't for you, we would never have gotten through France.
Who's the assassin lady, like the Chinese one?
Jin Kei, I think.
Jin Kei. Yeah, she was the one I had.
Yeah.
She was how I got through the dragons.
Yeah, she's pretty good. She has, like, sometimes she can inch to death. So it was very...
Well, given how much I've used her, not enough, like...
Not enough. Not enough,
It's a very, very brief chance.
It's a very brief chance. Well, to be fair, she is an assassin that failed her assassination. So...
I know.
But yeah. So yeah, then we moved on to France, and that's a pretty happy-go-lucky thing. Mosh, I feel like throughout like a lot of these, as we like to call it, good happy-go-lucky grand orders before shit hits the fan with Camelot, because you know that's why they decided to animate only several of the parts and not the whole thing. Haha. Because more or less the like, how do I describe it? Basically, the other, like, timelines we were going through with Jeanne of Arc, Nero Claudius, Drake, more or less it was to teach Mosh a lot of different lessons as we went through things. Of course, there was also plot going on. You learned about, you know, what the hell is happening with stuff. You learn how the world works. Basically, that's what's happening in every Grand Order, so... I can understand why they didn't animate it. I wonder if there's a servant with an anti-plot armor, Noble Phantasm. Anti-plot armor, Noble Phantasm, so... A servant who... Are you saying, like, a servant who, like, is gonna die no matter what? Because that's a rash, if you're looking...
No, they're saying a like, you know, characters have plot armor. They're saying a servant who can kill servants with plot armor.
Oh yeah, those exist. They exist. But it's just, it depends on how the plot wants things to go. Like, there are characters...
the Noble Phantasm is called Nasu.
Indeed.
It comes in the shape of a mushroom.
Yeah. Like, there are a lot of characters who are set up to be undefeatable on your side and undefeatable on the enemy's side, and sometimes they'll die unexpectedly. It's all to the whims of Natsu and how he's feeling on that particular day. For example, in, like, the recent Lost Belt arc, all of the servants you've basically used for, to get to Olympus, because we were going around, we're not at, like, the Mount Olympus part, but we're in regular Olympic. We were going around on the islands, you were collecting, and they're like, yeah, we get to use Orion in the next area. Nope! All of your servants died before you got there. And you're like, oh, no, I hope there's someone useful over there. We hope some of those servants who went ahead into Mount Olympus survived. Unlike how we saw Dion, who died in the beginning of the scene. Anyway, it's great. Who doesn't like watching servants die? It's a spectacle. It's a spectacle. It's okay. They'll come back. They'll be fine. But anyway, so Mosh learns a lot of lessons as they go down. Shit hits the fan. We get to the Camelot chapter. We then figure out it's Galahad, which everybody in Fate figured out the first goddamn. Everybody figured out it was Galahad the first time we looked at Mosh, because there's only one other character with her color scheme.
And
in the night.
for those people who are following the like all this behind the scenes on Fate Stay Night, it's like, yeah, no, it's like they're just reusing this. They're finally using this character.
Yeah, so all of us pretty much knew about it the moment it happened. So, because that's what the truth is. I bet everybody who just plays Type Moon nowadays are already waist deep fans, and so we know all the fucking lore behind the thing. Yeah. So we're like, no, it's Lancelot's son, Galahad. Or now son turned daughter. Anyway, so that exactly happens in the Camelot chapter where Lancelot confronts her and he's like, please don't call me Dad. That is bad for my health.
For various reasons.
Yeah. But he does kind of become a doting father. Yeah. Her kind of sort of father, because Mosh's probably biological father most likely wasn't around, nor biological mother. If she has one, she was genetically altered, so she might be DNA-wise closer to Galahad than any possible living person, because that happened. But yeah, do you want to put a shot of her father on the screen?
I'm trying to find a specific shot of her father.
Yeah. Oh no, what kind of specific shot?
I can't find it. It was going to be the one from the new Carnival Phantasm.
No, Azure, that's not appropriate. Lancelot is a Chad. A Chad. Oh, yeah. No, Lancelot is not a Chad. No, he's not. Oh.
As we established earlier on in the stream, this guy's got a kink for married women.
Yeah. He's got a kink for married women, and, trust me, he's not a Chad. Trust me. He's not. He's really, really not. I guess if anybody in the round table is a Chad, it's probably Kay, but I don't know enough about him yet to be sure. Gawain, no, I wouldn't say Gawain is a simp. Lancelot is a simp. They're really not.
Gawain's a freak.
Yeah, Gawain is a
like you get that from Fate Extra.
He is weird. Wait, I remember one thing that was made into.
She's not letting me share the picture, but here's Masha's reaction.
Mm-hmm. He was made into. No, he wasn't made into a femboy. He just decided to try to get closer to Mosh by wearing her Halloween outfit.
From that one craft essence.
From the one craft essence.
Was that his reason?
Yes. Yes, that was the reason. Well, Moriarty also kind of, like, subconsciously put it into his mind or whatever, because Moriarty is...
he was just fucking with him.
Yes, he was just fucking with him. Moriarty, good grandpa. He's fun. He's a fun character, even though he's a villain. But he's one of those hammy villains that it never pans out for him in the end. But, so yeah, shit of the fan in Camelot. Mosh fully understands now what it means to be a knight. And where do I go? I just stabbed an orphan because they can't tell their parents help me. What?
Got it.
Okay. Oh, I get it. You just stabbed an orphan because they can't tell their parents. Okay. No, I won't help you. Ride or die, fool. Ride or die.
This feels like a reference that's going over my head.
No, it's a joke. They stabbed an orphan because they can't tell their parents.
But why would they tell their parents in the first place?
Azure, they're orphans. They can't tell their parents.
But why would you stab them? I'm not sure I understand why the stabbing occurred to begin with. Although you did say that you needed dead babies for my body.
That's true.
Is that why?
Maybe. Why not stab? Oh. Anyway, so yep, Camelot. Mosh learns the true meaning of protecting people and what it means to be a knight. Maybe. Honestly, I just think the thing was
it means building a giant fucking fortress.
Yep.
With your noble phantasm.
Pretty much. So she unlocks her true Lord Camelot noble phantasm, and then we're ready for the true horror that is the Babylonian chapter. That was a trip. There we are, the 3 simps of the round table.
Because this was brought up before.
Yep.
This is canonical.
This is canonical. They are simps. That's Saber.
That's who they're simping for. They don't simp for Mosh, they simp for Saber.
Yes, they simp for Saber. Yep. Don't worry about them. They're just doing Knights of the Round Table things. But yeah, I think Kay is possibly the only one who doesn't partake. But like I said, he hasn't been around long enough for me to be sure. I mean, I get brain shutting down, can't think.
Uh-oh. The mashed potato pizza is kicking in.
Arm person's name forget, main character for Camelot. Why I can't think of his name?
Bedivere?
Yeah, Bedivere. Bedivere, there we go. I guess
Betty boy.
I guess technically, I mean, he's definitely not Chad, but he's not.
That man is suffering.
Yeah, that man is just suffering, to be honest. I don't think I feel like I want to talk about how because I'm like, is he? I mean, technically, because he didn't want to return the sword because Arturia would die, that caused the whole situation to happen. So, technically... Okay, I'm a bit late, so my story down. Up to 3 simps fight a purple-haired who becomes... What?
No! You completely wrong.
No. No. No, not at all. Wow, where did you get that from? Nobody is pregnant. Also, I'm still not even 100% sure that the 3 round table people are even aware that Arturia is a woman. Even though she's in a swimsuit that they were simping over.
We established this early on in the stream. Don't talk about servants having children around Sherry. She doesn't like it.
I don't like it. It's complicated.
It doesn't make sense to her, and it hurts her brain.
It hurts my brain. How can ghosts have babies? I don't understand. It's like Gumball all over again. The pic on the top looks devastated. Yeah, that's when Mosh
if you walked in on your dad wearing a stripper outfit, you would be devastated too.
Yeah, her dad was wearing a stripper outfit, so she freaked out. Especially if it was your stripper outfit. Oh, yes. Fate granddaughter, equal fan service opportunities.
Yes, Sparks. Male strippers.
Yes, male strippers in particular. That's what the Knights of the Round Tables are. Because he was pretty hot, not gonna lie. I'm fine either.
I just want to be loved.
Well, look, I'm not denying that Lancelot isn't pretty to look at. But, personality-wise, I personally would not get with him. Then again, I am not a married woman, so I'm not his type either. So...
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, as I said, Lancelot has a very specific type, and I am not one of them. You need to be a married woman or a MILF. Very particular set of tastes. Anyway. Yep. So, Camelot happens, and then we get traumatized in Babylonia. because people get turned into monsters. It was horrible. The biggest of monsters appear. She has a stomach that's a mouth. It was terrible. I don't want to relive it. Moving on, we get to Solomon, and Mosh takes all of her life experience, and when asked with the question, will you deny humanity with me so you can live longer? She says no, even if I only have 2 days left to live, which she does. I will burn it all up so that I can protect the world that we live in now. And then she does. She burns up. She disintegrates into thing, and we're depressed, and it's horrible. But by her...
We no longer have a free servant to use in our lists, so our team is all fucked up.
Yeah, it's terrible. All of my combinations are worthless now. And so, which that, the guy who's been with us this entire log said, hey, Mosh, I see your resolve, girl. So I'm gonna do the one thing that I should do. And that is sacrifice myself. I'll never be summoned ever again. And, this is the age of the gods.
Destroying my soul.
And the age of the gods will end right here with the death of me, Solomon. The real Solomon, not that guy who's possessing my body over there. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm. It also kind of helps that this Solomon in particular maybe, like, kind of watched Mosh grow up.
Mm-hmm. He may or may not be her dad in some way. Because...
Not dad.
Like, Ray's dad kind of doctor. I know Maysbury was mostly...
We're probably confusing people. We're talking about Dr. Roman.
Yeah, Dr. Roman. He was actually Solomon. And then he was like, I sent a ring to the future for this exact moment, so that way you couldn't do all these bad things. And now I'm gonna use all the rings together, and bam! No more me. No more...
Summon Captain Planet.
Yeah, no more unlimited magic. And now servants are summonable again. Oh, by the way, he stopped making servants useful for a bit there. But through sheer force of willpower, they're able to come back after this situation. Because, you know, willpower.
Because wanted to make more money. I mean willpower.
Yes, willpower. And then an epic fist fight happens. And then all of a sudden, after nowhere, the point you thought that you're gonna die, Mosh appears out of nowhere. And you're like, what the fuck just happened? And she's like, I don't know, but there was like this creature with a ton of tails. And then Foe is like, Foe. Look, you just had to be there. You just had to play through Fate Grand Order on your own. To truly get this experience, it is free for your iPhone device. It's still not too late to play this game. It is free. As long as you don't fall into gacha hell, you'll be fine. It's very easy to play this game for free, trust me. But you know, if you want to throw a few dollars here and there, it'll go to a good cause, like creating more anime for Fate. What could go wrong?
It's not like they're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, it's not like they, for some reason, gave Ufotable the budget to, you know, animate cooking with the Emiya family or anything.
Mm-hmm. They could have been doing Hollow Out of Raxia.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, guys. I just still think it's ridiculous that got an anime with, like, some of the best animators around for the cooking series.
It's like, look, man, they really needed to make the food sexy.
The fist fight reminded me of the fist fight from Shiro and Kirei. Kind of like that, although poorly animated, because honestly, the Fate Grand Order series got, like, shafted. They had, like, terrible animation. I tried watching a lot of them, but it looks bad.
I've only watched a little bit of Babylon, but what I saw looked fine.
Mm.
Is it worse than Babylon?
I don't think I fully watched Babylon, but
I mean, unless the animation in Babylon just got really bad.
The animation, I don't know, maybe Babylon was fine in the animation. I know that, so the animation, yeah, the only one probably was good was Babylon. The animation got weird in the the Camelot ones. It wasn't really that good except for a few parts in the Solomon chapter. Like, the fist fight looked really boring, in my opinion, in the Solomon part. You'll just have to watch Solomon and make your own judgment, Asher. I wasn't that into it. Especially because it's like, oh, hey, look at all these characters that nobody really bonded with because they didn't bother to animate most of the story for Fate Grand Order.
I feel like we've had this conversation before.
Yeah, I believe we did have this conversation before. But anyway, welcome to my immense disappointment. I feel like FGO, the only proper way to do it was to probably give it, like, old-style shonen treatment of it to have, like, 100 episodes or something. Which is funny, because it doesn't lack for content in order to pull that off, so...
I don't know if they could do, like, 13 episodes for each for each order, but at least not with the early ones.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe with the early ones you could do like 6 apiece, and then when you get to London you could do like 13
right.
each.
London at least deserved to get animated, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's basically where the story kind of took off.
Yeah, the story got taken off in London, and
Because
I feel
that's where Solomon comes in.
Yeah. Like, I feel like it's very, very important that London should have been animated, because Mordred was one of the characters that you and Mosh got really attached to. And it really hurts them when they get to the Camelot chapter to fight Mordred. And you kind of lose that in the animation, because they kind of don't have time to dwell on it. Like, that's the problem with, like, the Camelot chapter and stuff like that.
It's like, hey, remember this character you used to be friends with?
Mm-hmm.
No, because it wasn't animated? Oh, well.
Yep. So. Yeah, Mordred is a great character. Especially when she's done right. Apocrypha, she's probably the only good part of Apocrypha, to be honest. I mean, Astolfo is fun in his own way, but Joan worrying about Zieg probably brought down the whole series. God damn it, Jean.
Yeah, it's like Mordred and her master are like the best duo. Like,
yeah.
They have the most chemistry.
They do have the best chemistry, and also her master gets to reappear in other series now because I think he's a well-liked character. So don't worry, he's alive in other universes.
Yeah. He was in Case Files,
Yeah, he was in Case Files.
It's been so long, I do not remember half of the show.
But yeah, he's in Case Files. I don't know if he gets to show up briefly for, the Strange Fake. I'm not sure if he shows up briefly for that or not. But I think because Flat's there, I think he does. Because Flat and him have met before.
Lion.
No, Case Files technically doesn't take place before Apocrypha because it's somewhere along in the main universe timeline.
I think it's like 2003 because they're talking about the Fifth Holy Grail War.
Yeah.
That's the whole running plot line is that what's his name, Waver's trying to get into the war.
Yes. But yeah, Case Files takes place in the main timeline, or more or less in the main wobbly wobbly timeline. So it does not take place in Apocrypha. Apocrypha is a branch off of during the Second World War, where, Nazis invaded Japan and they stole the Holy Grail from Japan, and then they decided to set it up in the Europe. Like, it travels around for a while, and then they settle in,
Man, the Indiana Jones movies must be really different in that timeline.
Probably. I mean, they still lost, at least. The Axis power still lost, but this was the Nazis' own special thing, because there was like I forgot, was he like an apostle or something?
What, the villain?
Yeah.
Or, like the villain from the first half?
Yeah.
God, I don't know. It's like he's been like, I don't think he's an apostle, but he's been doing something to extend his life.
Yeah, he's been doing something. I'm not sure.
I think he's been eating homunculus.
Something like that. Anyway, so, but yeah, basic. Thank you, Matthews, for the 5 bidlies. Welcome to us talking about timelines. Sorry if I'm confusing for the timelines. But I've already had a series about this, more or less. But we could do it again sometime
Is that VOD on your YouTube channel?
Yes, I believe so. I should probably set up a thing together so that everybody can just go into there.
Grab the link and like put it in chat. Or something.
I'm probably gonna make on my YouTube channel. I'm probably gonna set together a playlist with all of our TMIs so far, so that way you guys can easily find the episodes you're looking for. But then again, in general, I do not name anything that makes sense, so don't worry about it.
It's like curses. Our quirky style of naming episodes has finally come back to bite us in the butt.
Yeah. But one day I think we'd like to properly have videos for these eventually, but this is just for us in the meantime until one day maybe I can afford an editor. And then I can do stuff. And then I can be the Tight Moon channel that I've always wanted to be. But yeah.
For 5 cents a day, you can buy an editor for a girl who lives in Massachusetts.
Don't worry about it. Ooh. So anyway. Remnant. Anyway, so the next part.
There's not really much to talk about in this one, is there?
No, there's not too much to talk about, except for the fact that Mosh is sidelined. Galahad has decided to make a shoopty whoop-diddy whoop and disappear for this whole arc. Mosh really, the only time Mosh travels with you into one of the remnant timelines is the Salem witch trials one. Which, that was an interesting one because it was also kind of taking place in real life time at the same time it was happening in the past. But yeah, they're doing it.
Here's an in-between frame.
Yeah. So yeah, she joins you for that one, and you're telling the tale of Solomon, I believe, for that. It's because, you know, it only makes sense during a witch trial to do the Queen of Sheba meets King Solomon tale, right? Right? This is a perfect time to tell that tale. Haha. Witch trial. Oh, my servant almost died. Whoops.
Yes, because that's what you want to do to a group, to like a sect of people who are extremely paranoid.
Yep. So, whoops, my servant almost died. It's okay. We managed to keep her alive because they didn't hang her properly. She was given a poison that loosened her muscles, so when it happened, she didn't. It was very confusing. The witch trials was very confusing. Samson kind of died at the end.
You know, hanging is not supposed to like strangle you. It's supposed to break your neck.
Yeah.
So what? Did the poison like make their necks soft or something so it wouldn't break?
I don't know, Azure. I don't know.
I don't think someone did their research on execution.
I'm not 100% sure for this. I can't remember what happened. I don't know if it's that they tied the noose loose. I don't know. I know the real trick is to how to get out of a hanging is that if you put your hand between the rope and your neck, you might be able to get out of it. Don't try this at home.
You only get one shot. You only get one shot to prove that.
Yeah, don't do it. Oh God. But anyway, so Mosh is pretty useless for this. I consider. No! No!
Okay, we just need you to sign this waiver before you do that. We're gonna mail it to you.
Mm-hmm.
It just like makes sure that it just like alleviates us of any responsibility.
God, no.
And if you do it without signing the waiver, then we get to sue you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even if you're dead, we still get to sue you.
Mm-hmm. We will be taking your will.
Mm-hmm.
Which I assume will consist of anime body pillows.
But anyway, the Undefeated Rabbit Mosh is pretty much sidelined. She's frustrated from being sidelined. Really, the Epic of Remnants, I feel, are more of to start building your character. Because the first part of the story was really Mosh's story, more than the protagonist's story, even though, you know, you were there. No, I don't want your drink. No. No.
You can't lead a horse to water.
Anyway, my voice is slightly getting better. I should be able to turn on Radines again soon. Because I'm coughing less and less now.
You sound better.
Thank you. I'm glad I sound better. Yes, it's going good. But anyway, alright, so now we move on to the Lost Belt. Oh boy, Lost Belt. So, how are your feelings on depression? Because Mosh is going to be going through this a lot for the Lost Belt. So basically, remember how those characters
pretty much become my personality, yes.
Yeah. So remember how those characters we talked about at the beginning of the series who died during the fire through Team A? Well, turns out, surprise, they're not quite dead yet. Or they are, but they're not at the same time. Don't worry about it. Convoluted things are convoluted.
They're only mostly dead.
Yes, they're only mostly dead, and this may give them an opportunity to come back to life. Possibly. If they manage to destroy the entire world and make their worlds canonical, don't worry about it.
Hey, look at the guy on the center left. Like, he's been dead for years.
Yeah, he's been dead for years. He knew he was dead from the beginning this all started. Why else would he be contracted to Anastasia, of all people? Anastasia.
Also, I love that, like, they got what was essentially a JoJo character to be on their team.
Pretty much.
You taste like a liar.
Who, Pepperoncino?
Yes.
Yes.
I am assuming that is the guy in the top right.
Top right with the purplish hair?
With the purple and the pink.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, that's Pepperoncino. Or what he
That's
prefers.
That is a JoJo name.
What he prefers to be called by, anyway. He doesn't like. He's Japanese, but he doesn't like to be called by his Japanese name.
And then you've got the guy in the center who looks like a filler villain from a Yu-Gi-Oh anime.
Well, he is technically the filler villain because he surprisingly dies fourth. Well,
given how he was like given like dead center, you'd think he'd be more important.
Nope, there's still 2 more Lost Belts after him. Well, when I say die fourth, I mean technically a lot of them haven't died. Only the girls have died so far.
Yay, gender equality!
Yay, gender equality indeed. Yeah. So we faced the white-haired one, and he survived because Rasputin was there? ? Still not 100% sure if that's who Kide is merged with. Yeah. So he managed to get away, even though his Lost Belt was destroyed. Ophelia.
Being, like, only mostly dead, it would be Rasputin.
Yeah, Ophelia, the one over here. You can't see me pointing at her, but she's the one at the top left. She's got a misty eye. That's why her eye is covered. So she she kind of wasn't really all for this anyway. Her world is the one where children die at 17 or something to more that effect. So, they're expected to have babies before that or...
Gross.
Yep. So it was a world of only children, more or less. And your character's like, awkward. Luckily, we're 16-ish, maybe 17.
It's like, yeah, I think I'd rather just do it with one of the ghosts that I summoned.
Yeah. So
it's like it's like making ghost babies. Suddenly that doesn't sound so bad.
Pretty much. So, but Ophelia's kind of like a downer throughout the entire thing. Eventually, she decides that she does want to go against the god that was interested in her or something. I was really confused during the story plotline or something like that, but well, it makes a lot more sense when you're reading it.
Saying something in Tight Note was confusing?
It makes a lot more sense when you're reading it, but then when you try to talk about it, you're like, now this doesn't make any sense anymore. So like they managed to like imprison a god or something into like, I think it's one of the Norse gods too, because it's a lot of Norse stuff that's happening.
It's like the imprisoning god, you're gonna have to be way more specific.
It's a lot of Norse stuff that's happening, more or less. Supposedly he's one of the gods that causes Ragnarok or something like that. It's not Loki, but it's...
Fenrir?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know which one it is. There are supposedly a few gods, I believe, that are predicted to cause...
I feel like I looked this up like not too long ago, but I can't remember. Now I gotta figure out.
Mm-hmm. Or he's the god who created I'm not sure.
No, it is Loki. Loki is the one who causes Ragnarok to happen.
Yeah, but I don't think it's that in the grand order.
Although, wait.
Like, Loki causes...
Oh, no, that is from Norse mythology. It's just the articles about God of War.
Yeah. Like, no, Loki does indeed cause Ragnarok, but I feel like in Fate, there was, like, a separate entity that was also... Fate.
Well, that's not true. In Ragnarok, it was Thor who caused it. Although I guess that Loki did put the thing in the flame. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
But anyway, I think this was supposed to be her real servant or stuff. Let's see. Yes, Surtur, who is supposed to bring the Twilight of the Gods, devoured Fenrir, gaining his authority and becoming immensely powerful. So it was Surtur. I think I'm pronouncing that right. S-U-R-T-R.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if you're pronouncing it right, but I've heard that name before.
Yeah. So... like, basically, like, this is, like, the god who, like, actually has, like, the power which causes Ragnarok. While Loki causes Ragnarok, this is the being that is Ragnarok, more or less, I believe. I think. He brings down the sword, and that's what causes it, I think. Or he.
How do you spell that name again?
S-U-R-T-R. Or he's one of the forces that's happening during
Ragnarok. I put that in the first thing it gave me was an anime girl.
Why not?
Oh, it's the flame giant from from Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah. He's like the actual force of Ragnarok, more or less.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. But anyway, he's basically the thing that's kind of contained in like a sun or whatever in this thing. When he gets out, he pretty much more or less causes the problem. Ophelia decides to side with us, helps us with her misty eye, stops him. We try to bring her back with us, but unfortunately she dies while we try to get a thing. Ophelia is meant to be tragic in the fact that she was in love with center middle guy, Woodsheim or whatever is pronounced. And those feelings are unrequited and blah blah blah. Mosh wanted to always be friends with her, yada yada, but she dies. What can we do? Okay. So then we move on. Yes, have a good night, Sparks. So then we move on to the Chinese Lost Belt. Cause you know, we have to go through there to get to where we're going. Because the world is weird right now. And they don't
land war.
Mm-hmm. And we have to go north, south, east, west, try to get to.
I've been recording the Princess Bride last night.
So, in that Lost Belt, it's another weird setup with, for some reason, the Emperor being a tower. Oh, so close. So close going through this without coughing. But anyway, then it's revealed that Chinese girl is actually for realsies Chinese, and she is actually maybe kind of a true ancestor, but not really. Don't read too into it.
She's also sexy as fuck.
She is very sexy. She is also now a summonable servant, and you can get her in the gacha. It's great. So, more or less, she's technically kind of the first person to officially join us at Chaldea because she decides to become a servant. And so, by becoming with a servant, she can hang out with her husband. Dang it, I wanted to be your husbando. There's still time, right? We can still make this work.
What has he got that I don't?
I mean, I get that he's like some sort of centaur robot man now, but I think I have some qualities going for me.
I'm sure Da Vinci could like whip something up for me. I'm sure Da Vinci could give me centaur legs.
But anyway, after her, we then go through the Indian Lost Belt with Pepperoncino. Very interesting character. He kind of joins us right away because his Lost Belt king kind of just like went off to do his own thing, and we're like, of course, Arjuna alter. That would happen with him.
Yeah.
Or God Arjuna, as he's somewhat been called. And, yeah, and the way that it works is it has to do with the Mahabharata or whatever, way that they count the world or whatever, the cycles or whatever. It used to, way it's supposed to work, it's like every hundreds and hundreds of years, so whatever Earth supposedly goes through a cycle, according to the story. So it has an era of prosperity, an era of like things drying up, rivers drying up, food becoming less, and then there's like the demon era where demons descend from Earth and kills people.
We are currently going through the COVID era.
Yeah. Eventually the demons will descend like this, kill people and blah blah blah, and then we go through total wipe out annihilation. And then the people who God chooses will then be reborn for the next part of the cycle. And there you go. That's more or less how this works.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting thing. Supposedly that's supposed to take place at every hundreds of years or so, but now it's happening every 5 days, more or less.
Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah. So we basically have to ray shift out of there every so often because, you know, the god would, like, not approve of our existence on the planet. Basically, as it's more or less going, Arjuna gets more and more picky through each cycle, so less and less people show up. But, you know, in his perfect world...
Protag-kun, you have slept with too many servants.
Yeah.
You are unpure.
In his more or less, like, pickiness of how things about how human beings are perfect, more or less, is that when he wipes them out from cycle to cycle, if he deems them unworthy, more or less, because they broke a rule he has in place or something to that effect,
Look, he's just really like anal about everything, you know. It's like
like I'm not even 100% sure because I'm not even 100% sure or not because like he ignores the rebels and stuff for a long period of time because he's just not interested in what they're up to. So
I think that was the same mistake that Palpatine made. Yeah.
But of course they do all get wiped out at one point when, you know, we've joined them and blah de blah. Anyway, so we're like, how the frick are we gonna beat the god? And so eventually we figure out through the help of a character from another series who's besties with Karna. Don't worry about it. She's cool. She has a really interesting character to point for this thing. So we figured out the way to do it. Time travel. We make it believe that we were a part of the world the entire time before he even existed. So basically someone has to camp out as a shut-in for thousands of years.
That is amazing, considering I know which character you're talking about.
Yep. So someone has to do that for thousands of years. And surprise, guys, it turns out it's weird...
a character from Fate Extra.
Yeah. It turns out, like, the weird thing that was hanging in the sky the entire time we were there was something we put in place so that we could mess with Arjuna's logic error. Because he's like, wait, what? But thing that I mean I'm not perfect? What? Basically, so we could have this moment, so then we then have the chance to, basically attack him directly, more or less. Abristamon, aka, another Mahabharata member, he's in the same group with Karna, although I'm not sure if they exactly get along or not, but Abristamon was killed by Arjuna, so it was like killing his pride working for him and stuff. Turns out he was Pepperoncino's actual servant. Arjuna's to make people understand, the Lost Belt Masters are technically not their servants, more or less. They're just servants that they sort of more or less got along and kind of put it in place to run the Lost Belt for them in a specific manner that they're looking for. But of course things got crazy. Whoop-de-whoop-de-woo.
He already got involved, you know it's not gonna end well.
Yeah, eventually we got Karna to beat Arjuna, but, you know, Karna, being the goody two-shoes that he is, decides to give Abristamon the chance to come back so that Pepperoncino
I've given you some of my energy. Now you're on your own.
Yeah, so that he decides, because basically as how it works is sometimes when a servant dies, they can summon another servant in their place, more or less, by using their spirit core. That's a thing now.
Something that Gilgamesh may have done in Babylon.
Yeah, something, haha. whoopity whoopity timey wimey woobity boo. Anyway, so Karna then decides, hey, okie dokie, here's it back. And then Brishmon comes back, and I'm like, God fucking damn it. Because now we have to fight Pepperoncino, because, you know, he's still the person of this time lost belt. And he's like, well, I can't say I didn't go down fighting. But Mosh is like, but why? And he's like, well, because... I'm technically not a bad guy, but I'm technically not a good guy either. I mean, we did decide to kill your entire world so that we could live. Let's be real.
Side character in a JoJo story arc. It's my fate to die.
Mm-hmm.
I can't escape it.
Well, he didn't die.
Oh, he doesn't?
Nope, he doesn't die. He's still alive. And now we're in the, we're now in the, on the US servers anyway. We're now on the arc you thought that was going to be the last arc, which is the Atlantis part. But surprisingly, that was the next part after this. So it turns out the person who you thought was going to be your last big bad, the person in the center, is not your last big bad. I know, it was shocking, it was surprising. I don't think anybody really saw it coming too much.
It was a subversion of expectations.
Yeah. But anyway, this is the first chapter of the Lost Belts that is then split into 2 chapters because, haha, Natsu has decided, let's write everything. Everything. Basically, he got like halfway into writing this story before he realized he had way too much stuff to fit in 1 chapter. So the people who were doing it, it's like, alright, let's divide it into 2 parts so we can properly show the areas that you want to showcase. One for Atlantis and the other for Olympus. Alright? Okay. And then, you know, COVID kind of happened, so now the story is taking a bit longer to get out right now. And now let's move on to a big story part. And that's this. I'm not going to cover Olympus too much because I didn't pay too much attention to it. But what happens for Mosh in the next story arc, that's JP only right now, is a little interesting. So I don't know for sure what's happening with the Lost Belt in England. But, basically, more or less, the Fey realm has taken over. And, there are fairy kings all over the place, like Oberon, for one. But, let's not worry too much about Oberon. It's fine. He's normal. Don't worry about him.
You can summon him as a servant. How bad could he be?
Yeah, how bad can Oberon be?
It's not like this game lets you summon former villains as servants.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it. But, so you go through the Fey portal or whatever to get thing, because I guess the Fey Lost Belt is kind of seeping in to the blank reality that it is, because it's a really weird Lost Belt. What do you expect when Morgan is in charge? More or less, so you kind of lose your memory for a few seconds, but it comes back. Mosh, on the other hand, becomes a blank slate. She remembers fucking nothing.
No, she's the same.
Yeah, she's the same. She doesn't remember anything. Some fairy, more or less, comes along and finds her and says, "Oh, your name is Mosh." And she's like, "What?" Yeah, she's like, "Yeah, it says it right here on your shield." Haha. Anyway. Don't worry about it.
I guess Galahad was just a really big fan of mashed potatoes.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, more or less, let's go on.
You know what? Actually, you know what? Artoria was probably the one who inscribed that on the shield.
Probably.
She was just really hungry one day, and she was just, like, carving into, like, what she thought was the table, but it ended up being the shield.
Yeah. She's like, "God damn, if I have to eat one more of Gwen's mashed potatoes, I swear to God, I'm gonna kill myself."
It's like I got enough on my plate right now. I know that Lancelot is fucking my wife.
Mm-hmm. So, so what?
My daughter's son has a weird crush on me, but yet at the same time wants to kill me.
So anyway, eventually she kind of gets taken care of by this fairy and a couple of ogres? Question mark. And then they get taken in by like some Lion King fairy who believes, who is pretty sure she's not the child of prophecy. By the way, there's a child of prophecy that is said to save all of Britain at one point. Who could have it possibly be? Who the fuck knows?
Harry Potter.
Yeah. Who could possibly be the savior of England? Oh.
It couldn't possibly be the face of the franchise.
It couldn't possibly be in caster form? Nah.
That would just be weird.
Weird. Indeed. But, so, in this whole thing, you and Mosh are separated, by the way. So, in order to take advantage of people mistaking her for the child of prophecy, this guy decides to take her in as his wife. And let's be straight up, a lot of things decide to dance around the subject of what happens, but basically he tries to rape her.
Oh, lovely. I thought we were done.
Nope.
Hey, Moon, I thought we were done with this.
Nope. He tries to rape her, but luckily Mosh is super strong, and she uses the shield and smacks him through the wall. So, there's that, at least. But the fact that they're like everything that I read says that, so he tries to consummate the marriage, and I'm like, oh, you mean he tries to rape her? And I'm like, let's not confuse what it is. Trying to take advantage of an amnesiac is rape. Sorry, I just don't like it when people...
No means no.
Yes, no means no. Don't try to F someone who has no memories.
Because you might get a shield to the face.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you'll definitely be arrested.
Sorry, I do not believe in hand-holding people and using flowery language to what happened. It was an icky situation. I didn't like reading it when it happened. I mean, even if it was relatively quick, but it was still not fun. It was not a fun to read for that part. Because I was reading, because I was in a content dry and I wanted to know what was fucking happening in JP. But anyway, so more or less, things not the plan. The fairy then shows up again to Mosh, and she's like, "Don't let him do those things to you. You're not really married to him." And she's like, "Oh." She's like, "Yeah." So eventually, stuff goes by, things happen. You meet up with Mosh only to be torn apart a few times. Eventually, Mosh does get her memories back. And she's like, "Oh my god, senpai!" And then boom, she disappears. And you're like, "What?" And then the fairy who was with her like, Don't worry about it. That was a teleportation spell. So she's just somewhere. We just gotta go look for her. Follow me." So then it turns out that Mosh was not teleported, but transported back into the past. With someone who looks like the fairy who was taking care of her, and someone who looks like the caster we've been hanging out with, who mysteriously looks like the face of the franchise. Strange. Weird.
No.
How strange. So it was 1,000 years ago, and they're going by different names. And this person is strangely concerned that she won't be able to fulfill her destiny.
Oh, what a coincidence. We're looking for a child of destiny.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Maybe if we help you fulfill your destiny, we'll find the child of destiny that we need.
Yeah. But more or less, stuff happens. Caster Rotoria turns into a sword.
Like you do.
Mm-hmm. And then we defeat the Lost Belt, and that's pretty much what the story is up to this point. because, like I said, COVID happened and now things are getting slow. But I don't really blame COVID much for this problem, or rather, Natsu is doing a lot of fucking projects right now, and I am not surprised.
Yeah, like Fate Extra, I hope.
Like Fate Extra, and they suddenly dropped Tsukihime a month or two ago. Out of nowhere.
It's like, when is Tsukihime coming out? And then we didn't realize it's like, oh wait, if they put out Tsukihime, that means that they're going to have to devote time to it.
Yeah.
Which is going to take time away from other projects that we're invested in.
Yeah, and let's not to say that they've also decided to go the DLC route of Tsukihime. So while you have 2 routes that are out now, there's more planned for a price point.
You don't have the full game yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's
so
what that means.
It means there's still stuff being written right now for Tsukihime. Because he still has to get through all the main characters and then the extra routes that he wants to write for characters that he didn't get to do previously. So, Anyway, and that's all of the story that there is for Mosh right now. She does a lot of other stuff. She's a big avid fan of Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, she actually got pretty excited when he showed up. Because, yeah, by the way, Sherlock Holmes shows up.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes shows up. He's actually a prominent character for the Lost Belts arc. So, because, you know, he's one of the 2 remaining servants who are left after Chaldea collapses. I mean, everybody's coming back now, but it took a long time for us to get to a place that we could have servants just hanging around again. So, it was an interesting story arc for a while. I mean, I'm still enjoying the read and everything with Mosh, and I'm wondering where she will go. But basically, as I have to end this, more or less, is Mosh is a character that is still to be determined on where she's gonna go and how she's gonna develop. I mean, I think she's gotten a decent bit of character development, even though she's like has the emotional range of a cardboard cutout. But, you know,
she is first and foremost a waifu.
Yeah, she is first and foremost a waifu.
That probably will never change.
Probably not. Anyway, enjoy the best actions of Mosh by watching Carnival Phantasm.
Yeah, she actually, because that's where most of the characters have their personality.
Yeah.
They're really like flanderized, but hey.
Yeah.
It's like if they didn't have much to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Basically, mostly just watch it, see Red Saber and Blue Saber's weird rivalry that doesn't exist outside of the comedy materials.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. I can't believe that we almost went a whole 2 hours this time talking about a character. But then again, she does have a lot of stuff now.
It's almost like they've been developing this character for like what, 7 years?
7 years sounds about right.
It's like oh my god, 2015 was 7 years ago.
Yeah, but it was 7 years ago that we first started playing this game. And
actually, it might have been before that. I think it might have started. No, it started in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
7 years ago, we got on this FGO ride. I'm still on it. Azure has decided to call it quits with Solomon. Probably for the good better.
My iPad broke, and I figured, you know what? This might as well be a good enough time to get off the train. Because there's no stations between here and the ending for a long while.
Mm-mm. Nope. No things whatsoever. But anyway, thank you all again so much for joining us tonight. It's been a fun talk. I'm sorry that I'm a bit later than usual. Because, my food took a while to get here. But, you know, you can't rush perfection.
You can't rush a potato pizza.
You can't rush it. Potato pizza will just get soggy if you do, you know? Yes, thank you all for joining me. I'm sorry if there wasn't as funny things. I guess our best comedy comes from us winging it. But I do feel like I was able to stay on point better this time around. Maybe this is the point. Haha. Who knows? Yes, remember the potato pizza, guys. Remember all the times we had talking about this potato pizza.
I think we peaked with the potato pizza.
We did peak with the potato pizza. I'm sorry. Mosh is a character that has a lot of basic character. Like, there isn't like any weird story stuff that's going on again. Besides her backstory of her being a designer child, there isn't really much going on. She has very basic desires and wants. I mean, what she really wanted to do was be able to see the sky and stuff like that. If it makes you guys all feel better, she now is not going to die, supposedly.
Well, she's not going to. Her lifespan is no longer being drained.
Yeah.
She could still die.
She could still die.
She could be killed.
She can be killed. Also, I just want to say thank you all for joining me again. We managed to get to 300 followers in this stream. That's exciting. And I don't have anything else to say, really. I wanted to think of something.
What are we doing tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, we will be playing... I don't know. What do you want to play?
Well, I was thinking we could go to Star Wars. Or we could play around with Master Duel.
Yeah, we could play around with Master Duel. We could do that instead. I've built a deck that I need to play against Azure to see if I'm playing this deck correctly.
Well, I mean, I'm playing with half the cards that I need, so.
Yeah, so we'll see if we can get Azure's deck better.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, take care.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
We typically start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays. So if you're coming back tomorrow
well, we typically start at 7, but I fucked it up.
We've been doing it at 8.
We've been doing it at 8. I think we should probably just keep it 8 because we're late owls.
Yeah.
We're late owls like that. So let me see. Who is streaming right now? A lot of people are streaming. Hello!
Someone broke into the interrogation room.
Ah! Hello!
Yeah, it was me.
It's you. How dare... Hi, Matthias.
I was literally about to say, Cherry, we need to hang out more.
We do.
I love you.
Do.
Hug me.
No.
Yes.
No.
I will hug you.
No!
You can't stop me. I'm a force of nature.
No! 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 Do you have a recommendation of someone to raid? Is that why you're here?
I mean, no. I literally just came here to bother you and cuddle you.
You can't do that. We're trying to end a stream here. And we're celebrating 300 followers. We just got it to it in this stream.
Congratulations.
Yay!
You know what that calls for?
That means I am a little bit better at VTubing, right?
Yeah. You know. Look at your chat. Look at your chat. Now
what
back to me.
What am I looking at chat for? Why am I looking at chat? You better not be doing anything. No! I don't want head pats. Those are your head pats.
I'm giving you head pats.
No! No head pats.
I'm giving you head pats.
No!
Yep.
No! No!
Yep.
Yeah, no!
I'm holding your hand now.
No!
Can't stop it.
No!
I'm a force of nature.
No!
Good night, everybody!
Good night! Wait, where's this Wudway rating?
Well, Ping is streaming, Mitz is streaming, shoot, Kylie is streaming.
Let's see. How about we raid Tristan, because it looks like he's the weakest link of us tonight.
Yeah, raid Tristan.
Yeah.
The homie needs some help.
Yeah, he's weakest link tonight. Let's help him out. Because I'm like looking, it's like he's kind of low tonight. But then again, I can see why a lot of people are playing that game today. So
yeah.
That game.
Also, yeah, you can't stop me. You
No!
really can't stop me.
You can't do this to me. I will not allow this to go forth.
Cherry. I have 5 wives. You can't stop me.
No, I refuse to be a sister wife.
You're an independent woman who don't need no man.
Yeah, I don't need no man.
No, see, that's
Or
fine.
whatever your VTuber gimmick is, I'm not familiar.
I don't know what my
I could
YouTuber
just-
gimmick is.
The sad thing is I didn't even want 5 wives. I got shoved into like 5 relationships, and I was just like, shit. How did I end up here?
Because you wanted to hold people's hands, you sicko. Alright, and
It's
that's
not
the
even
end of
true.
the stream. Goodbye, everyone.
You need to go to rehab.
Goodbye.
Sayonara, everyone.
Oh my gosh.
Do you two want some time alone?
No!
You and your disgusting hand holding.
Disgusting.